What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast, and today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Zeztz, case number 7. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going, Toby? Welcome back.
Josh, even more important than all those things you just said, Power Wash Simulator 2 came out last week, and it's like the greatest day in my life in years. And everyone should really be playing that instead of listening to this, or at least double up.
Yeah, I saw you gushing about it, and then I saw you say that you put hundreds of hours into Power Washing Simulator 1.
Yeah.
And what is there to do in Power Washing Simulator 1 for hundreds of hours?
So the first game, after all, I think it was out for 3 years. By the time they said, hey, there's a second one coming out now, you clean a lot of shit off of a lot of shit. And then eventually they started doing like super themed DLCs. Like one was a Final Fantasy pack, and you cleaned Tifa's bar and like map of like Shinra, like a 3D relief map thingy. You cleaned some mechs. There was one for SpongeBob. There's one for Back to the Future. There was one for Tomb Raider. There's like 7 DLCs they eventually put out. And it's just like spray water on things in these locations from games or properties you recognize. So I did. I played. Go ahead.
Yeah, like what's the hook that gets you to like keep coming back to it?
I don't know.
Are you unlocking things?
No, not really. Like, I mean, you can buy better power washers, but that's really about it.
So it really is just about the satisfaction of like it's all clean when I'm done. It's methodical. I'm working through it, and then it's all clean.
Yeah, and then there's like a little chime for every time you finish a piece of a thing, and it's kind of like the numbers go up endorphins.
I gotcha.
From an idle clicker, but it's just like I sprayed water on this thing, and now it went from like dirty blue to blue. But and there's supposed to be a story that's weaved throughout both games, and whatever it may be, I don't understand because it doesn't really like tell you a story. There's just little text prompts that come up while you're playing. But if you're focusing on your water squirting, you don't actually see the words.
Sure.
But I think as of the first day I wasn't busy, these past couple days, was like Saturday night. And from Saturday night until as we're recording now, I think I have 13 hours in the second game already.
Okay.
Yeah. And
is it as good? Does it hold up?
It's literally the same exact game. It's literally just new maps and basically like 95% the same exact game. And I even had a moment this time where I was doing one of the levels and I was like, this is literally just more of the same thing. And I pondered life for a few seconds and then I just giggled to myself and I was like, I don't really think I care. And then I just played more.
Yeah, it's like, hell yeah, I'm here for this. That's what I loved the first time.
Yeah. And it's crazy because like, I think we talked about some of the other ones before. At this point in life, you can probably find a simulator of basically everything you would have to do in real life and just play a video game form of it. There's grocery store simulator. There's that dumb like trading card game simulator, like power wash sim. There's car mechanic sim. There's like everything. And it's crazy because like there's a lawnmower or grass cutting or whatever the fuck it's called sim game, which is in theory the same exact vibe. And you drive a lawnmower around yards and you cut the grass. And like I played that one for a little bit, and that one made me have a visceral response of like I should actually just go outside and cut the grass. But the power washing one never makes me go, I should go outside and power wash the house, which I probably should do. It just feels like I'm going to zone the fuck out in this for a couple hours and just have fun. So I don't know what the quirk is of one versus the other. But I definitely have it for this game.
So yeah, I definitely like I've tried some of these like simulator type games before too. Not this one, but others. And yeah, I typically have the same reaction you had with the mowing one of just I don't get to the Zen mode. I get to the like, well, this is just kind of work. Like I'm just sort of doing a job and it's kind of tedious and like the farming simulators are like a good example of just like I get what I'm doing here. It's just, do I really want to try to drive this tractor in a perfect straight line and go over here and load this other tool and then drive back? And it's just like there's like a lot of steps that I don't feel the need to go through. But I do love a game that is just they've tuned the mechanics in such a way and tuned the feedback in such a way that it is just pure joy to interact with the mechanics, which is what this sounds like. Like the idea of like spraying the water, it gets clean. It does the little alert sound when you've cleaned a piece off. Like that sounds very comforting. Yeah.
And like I guess that's mainly what it is, but even for fun as a joke, I've tested a shitload of them, either from like being given keys or just like downloading random ones to try them. And for whatever reason, like the loop from how most of them work just don't work for me. And I don't know if it's just like specifically like the type of gameplay it is or what, but power washing one feels video gamey enough while being a menial task that it actually feels like a fun thing to play and not just like cutting the grass. Doesn't really feel like a game. It feels like
Yeah.
cutting the grass and staring at a screen.
Right. What's your ultimate like um zone out, like feel good vibes game? Like if you need to just do the thing the power watching simulator is doing and just kind of like zone out and have a good time. Like what is it power watching simulator? Is that your main one, or do you have one that you have used in the past?
Like that would be the main one now. And I'm gonna say that's mixed with any game that is Assassin's Creeded the fuck out, where there's like thousands of collectibles.
Oh yeah,
Like I can sit there for hours and be highly entertained by running from like little marker on the map to little marker on the map to like open a
yeah.
chest to find like Assassin's Creed 2 was the first real bad one. It's like, oh, there's 500 feathers and 200 armor pieces and 300 songs and everything else.
Yeah.
And like when I just want to do something, I just put anything else on in the background and I don't even pay attention to the game. Like there's story to be had, whatever. And I'm like, but Ferenzi's Northern Quadrant has 27 collectibles right now. I'm just going to go run around and do all these things for absolutely no reason. And I
Yep.
think that's my ultimate like checklisting in my brain doing dumb menial tasks. Any kind of those games. Anything with like a shitload of collectibles, I guess.
Yeah.
Where I can just
I
like look at the map, set a marker, then look at the map, set the marker again, over and over and over and over.
Yeah, the first Assassin's Creed 2, the first one, I definitely had that with too. Just like I want to listen to a podcast, I'm just going to run around and just clear out all of these objectives, like every single one of them. And that's one of the few games that I have 100%ed at some point in my life. But there are two other games that came to mind for me for these like kind of comfort games. And the first one's kind of recent, and it's Donkey Kong Bonanza. And that game, the punching rock mechanic where you punch and like you explode the rock is such a feel good, visceral mechanic that it is just purely fun to do. No objectives are required. You can just drop into a world and start punching holes into it and take down entire mountains. And that is so much fun. There's so many people I've seen online who have literally cleared out like the first level just because the punching is so much fun and they've punched everything that you could possibly punch until it's down to just flat. um, and that game is definitely like vibes for that. But the other one, which is way older, and is a game I come back to for this feeling, is Peggle. I think that there's something about just like firing up a random Peggle level, not really caring if you win or not, but just wanting to like watch the ball bounce and hear those sounds. Like there's something that is very like Zen mode about Peggle.
I think Peggle specifically is like Peggle's. A long, long time ago on Xbox 360, like 100% at Peggle, which was like get a clear map in every world, every little thing.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
And I really think that the whole vibe of Peggle is they have you so like Pavlov trained on you want to hear Ode to Joy
Yep.
that just locks you in some sort of zone where you're like, I'm gonna get this to work because I want to hear that stupid song again, and then it just work.
And the way that the sound continues to go up in pitch as you hit more and more of the blocks like in one shot, the way that goes like ping 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 ping, like that noise is like clearly someone spent months on perfecting that. And that was their whole job, was make that feedback sound enticing,
They
and
were
it
onto
worked.
something, man. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
uh
especially too since it's like easily kind of the same vibe of like Super Meat Boy in the sense
yeah.
of it's easily resettable and you can just start over and over and over. And it's not like a huge time sink where you lost like hours worth of progress. You just kind of start over when you want to.
Yeah.
I think that always helps too, to make it a little bit easier for all these things.
Yeah, like Super Meat Boy is a great example because like on the surface it should be a frustrating game, and it is sometimes. But yeah, the fact that you can like jump back into it so quickly also makes it like you can just get in the zone and play that game for hours without realizing like hours have gone by. And I have that same thing sometimes now with Street Fighter, where like, yeah, I can like put a video on one monitor and like just boot into ranked matches on the other monitor and just go forever and like just keep grinding them. And like I'm like winning and losing probably about 50%, like not really making much progress. But like you can just get really deep into that like mechanical mode and not really realize time is passing. Video games, man. Who would have
How about
thought?
them?
They're kind
The
of
people that
fun.
make the good ones are onto something.
Yeah. turns out they're kind of good at this. And speaking of being kind of good at things, I think you and I, Toby, are kind of good at talking about Common Rider. So we should probably
That
should probably
seems
do
silly,
that.
but we could try it anyway.
So we, of course, we're off last week. We did not have an episode, so we are an episode behind. If you're keeping up with us, we're going to talk about episode 7 today, and we're going to talk about episode 8 next time because Zeztz is, I think, going on break. So at the end of next week, we should be caught up with current still, and we don't have to double up on episodes. If you were wondering, so
They
that's the
take as
plan
many
today.
breaks as we do.
That's right. And we almost timed it perfectly where we took a break when they did, but not quite. Off by a week or two. But episode 7 is the second part to a two-parter, really diving into the mysteries of Nem. So we are trapped in a giant prison, and it's created by Nox, and we're trying to escape. And we have Nox and her parents, but are they really her parents? Spoiler alert: no, they're not. We found out last time. The man is sort of the head of her talent agency, and he is having kind of fatherly feelings towards her.
Well,
So
feelings that we weren't really sure.
yeah, that's
It
true.
it
Yeah,
it was first coded fatherly, and then there was an idol to Nem, an idol of the idol Nem, or like a little shrine, and we were like, is he just a weird, creepy old guy? But it wasn't. He was okay.
yeah. They tried to serve us at the end with the shrine stuff, and yeah, it turns out it was mostly just like fatherly love here. But anyway, the episode picks up, Toby, and we're still trapped in the prison. And Bijogi, who is the head of the talent agency, has kind of like absconded with Nem. He's grabbed her and says like, "All right, we'll just stay in the prison forever then." And he's like, he runs
My
off.
happy place.
Yeah. So we start and they're running up the staircase, and I really liked the animation of the endless staircase going up and up and up, where they have the floor number on the wall and it just starts cycling as the numbers
Yeah.
get higher. They can do some pretty cool stuff in the dream world in these episodes. But Baku chases after them. He can't catch them, and eventually he wakes up IRL. And he goes and he talks to Zero about what's been going on. And Zero is in his kind of robot form. And Zero tells him that he's not going to be able to find the doors doing what he's doing since he's trapped in this prison. So he'll have to figure out a different way of kind of tackling the problem.
It was a clueless case.
Yep. And around this time, the two police officers come in, and Baku, of course, freaks out because they're going to see Zero. That's kind of his big secret that he still has. So he kind of waves his arms to try to give Zero time to like get back into bike form, but Zero's way ahead of him. And this whole scene is great because we cut back to Zero in bike form a couple times, and he just very faintly moves, and it's like shrugs, and it's like you can sort of like read his emotions through his tiny movements, and I think that is genius. I hope they keep doing that.
I feel like at some point they're probably gonna let. I feel like the cops are gonna get friendly enough to be like, "Hey, look, like it's actually this is my boss." Hey, but yeah, like it almost felt like he winked at one point with his headlight, which was impossible.
Yeah.
Like the plastic lens around it seemed like it moved, but it was just like real like micro movements or whatever they say, like when you hold a little pendulum in your hand and it starts moving by itself, it's because your hand is always doing micro movements or something along those lines. It's like
Hmm.
that. Just little nudges where you're like, I think that bike moved. But only if you know.
And like in the same way that they're really good at expressing emotion through like Sentai helmets and Kamen Rider helmets, like I can't see a face, but I can tell what this person's doing. They're doing the same thing here. Like they're really good with taking what otherwise is kind of an inanimate object and making it appear human. Our police officers are wanting, of course, an update on the case, and this is the point where they explain to Baku about the accident. We got wind of there being an accident 4 years ago, and we find out that the accident this time was a car accident, and the head of the talent agency um, was kind of covering it up. Essentially, is sort of what we boil down to.
So with that, it's crazy because like the two pieces of that when they did show the actual bus crash, the driver of the bus basically turned the bus directly to point them towards the truck that was coming, and
Yeah,
that seemed more like a setup than an accident, if you ask me. But like, I feel like it confirms better at the end something that we had a prediction about. But even the first part here, when they said about like, oh yeah, Nem's missing and asleep and everything else, like at first she felt more like the version of Nem we see everywhere in the real world or like the awake world, whatever. That she's like AI basically, or just like a CG girl or whatever.
yeah,
And I'm pretty sure we said that was one of our many predictions of like,
yep.
hey, maybe Nem's not really a thing, and she's just like we're just using AI or CG or something to make Nem like the most popular idol ever. So that felt good. That like I feel like that pretty much confirmed what we were saying. And then like shortly after, which turned out to be the real Nem part of it, was I feel like they led towards like, no, she's just always asleep early, which made me think she was in a coma. And I feel like that's pretty much what the confirmation was, where like I know people in our Discord guest, or there's a whole theory about like, hey, is Nem actually a nightmare? Or like Jordan wrote an email about it.
Yeah.
And that seemed pretty freaking close. It's not that like she is a nightmare necessarily. It just seems like she's unconscious, so she's always in a nightmare because she's
Yeah.
stuck.
Yeah, I think that will, I think the fallout I think from this episode. So yeah, at the end, um I guess to explain fully kind of the state of Nem at the end of this episode, we find out that yes, she was in the accident 4 years ago, was left in critical condition. She was in a hospital, but then went missing from the hospital, and they didn't report it to the police. He wanted to,
Because
basically not.
she's the glue that holds the world together.
Yep. Yeah. He wanted to not alert the public and wanted to investigate on their own. They still haven't found her. So of course they're all starting to believe now that she's dead. However, at the end we see that she's not actually dead. She is seemingly in a coma, and Nox has her in some dark place. So I think you're exactly right. And I think, like I said, I think the fallout from this episode will be that she is in a coma, which gives her, and she's a lucid dreamer like Baku is, which then is gonna like, I think Nox is gonna be like feeding off of those powers somehow with her.
So
Like,
so to that point, when they like when Knox said bye at the end of the episode, because like a lot of this episode, Knox's comments were, "You can't always win. You don't know what you're actually doing with the power that you have," kind of thing.
yep.
And I
He
think it
specifically
was
talks about the cost of of Baku's
yeah.
power. Yeah.
So the first episode or the second one, when the nightmare got out, there was like the pink mist everywhere, and we're like, "Oh, the nightmare's in the real world," blah blah blah. And I don't remember the butterflies then, but this time when Nox disappeared at the end and was like, "You don't know the cost of what you're doing," like a little purple butterfly flew out of the president of the idol agency, and it seems like Nem is farming purple butterflies that Nox seems intrigued with. And I can't tell if she's farming like the happiness or like the resolution of the dreams, where like she's protecting something, or or if like they're farming, hey, the butterflies representation of the evil that came out of this person, and we're farming the evil of the butterflies. And I can't tell like what that overlap is. but it
Yeah.
seems like they're definitely working on something there.
Yeah, I couldn't quite figure that out either. I had the same thoughts of like, what is the butterfly good or bad? What does the butterfly represent? My guess is that the butterfly is the bad dream. Like cuz the guy, the talent agency guy, once everything gets resolved here. So basically the Baku commits to a new mission of finding Nem, and kind of he gives the guy hope that Nem is still alive and that he will find her. So the guy's dream is kind of resolved in that way, like with kind of faith in Baku. And that's when the butterfly sort of flies out of him. He like smiles and the butterfly comes out. So I'm wondering if the butterfly isn't like the bad dream, the negative feelings, and that's what Nox is trying to accumulate. But it's hard to say.
Yeah, like that one's actually. I mean, they do a good job of leaving it as a vague thing,
Yeah,
or like a generally vague thing. And my only issue, concern, whatever you want to call it, was like just more so I don't remember now if I missed something from that first episode where all the purple pink fuzz, whatever you want to call it, took over the world. And I just don't remember if there was butterflies then too, where like I have something simple that I missed, or just this is a brand new concept that we're talking about now, and it is what it
yeah.
is, or what's going on there.
I don't remember any butterflies, but yeah, I might have also missed them as well. I mostly just remember, yeah, the like pink mist stuff, basically. But yeah, they're certainly here now, and there were a lot of butterflies already flying around the body of Nem. But you're right, we definitely called at least one aspect of that was that Nem was mostly a person in dreams and wasn't really a real life concern anymore, and that her presence in all of these ads was essentially either old photos that were being reused or just straight up AI versions of Nem, which is a very 2025 like dark future. You have your perfect idol that no one could ever match up to that suddenly dies, and she continues to work through the power of AI. uh, yeah, that feels ripped from the headlines.
Basically, yeah.
Um, and that's pretty much the gist of what's happening in the episode as far as the big plot points. So we find out that Nem is in this coma. Like I said, we don't really know um the nature of sort of what Nox is using her for, which I think is room for some good speculation here. And like you said, I think that a lot of what he says to Baku is very cryptic. But one of them specifically is about the cost of his powers, and yeah, like you said, that he can't always win. So yeah, I wonder if we're not going to find out that like there is more to him becoming Zeztz, and like maybe every time he henshins, like it uses something up, or like it exterminates a dream, or something weird like that. And I'm wondering if Zero doesn't know more than he's letting on, because like he's a figure as well who um clearly is hiding things. Right, like we saw his person form in shadows um in the first episode, I believe it was. And you don't put somebody in shadows and hide their face unless you're going to reveal that at some point. So I think that there's probably more to Zero than we currently know. So I wonder if Zero maybe won't turn out to be not 100% a good guy because he's been misleading Zets this whole time, or what will happen.
Yeah, like that's definitely like, at least in the circles we travel in, that was definitely like a solid idea concept as well. So again, like we're not, it's super early in the season still, but I think the show is doing a quite a fantastic job of just leaving all sorts of like breadcrumb trails. They're doing fantastic stories every time, where the little stories are interesting, plus the major wraparound has lots of like mysteries and curiosities to solve and stuff, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
So in general, like we've been hyping the show all season so far. And they're still going pretty solid. Like I have no complaints. Uh Most of the things that I mentioned or come up with is more so like I'm just not sure of the solution. Like I don't know. Like the butterflies is not so much a wow, this is an issue as it's hey, I just don't know if I missed the butterflies before or not kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
And
think
I'm excited
it's
to
more me.
find out
It's more
more.
me than them.
Right. Yeah, I think that, we're only 7 episodes in here and the show is not feeling like it's not feeling predictable at all. Really. I'm very surprised by the things that happen in each episode. We didn't even talk about in this episode yet he discovers that the nightmare, the whole prison will have a brain and he sort of pinpoints where the brain is and then he goes up and like rider kicks a hole in the giant brain.
Well,
Um
how is he gonna blow up the brain? I mean, that checks
yeah,
out.
I guess so. Yeah. It's just like sometimes like I'm watching these episodes, I'm like vibing with what's happening, and then I'll like stop and be like, "What the fuck am I watching?" Like it's just things go insane in this show seemingly very quickly, and I'm pretty into it. Like that's it's weird stuff we've seen so far. With the giant prison last episode, the reveal there was like nuts, and this time with the giant brain is just a crazy visual. Um, and yeah, it's certainly been an unpredictable show, and they're in similar Geats fashion, which makes sense. They are doling out the mysteries at a pretty steady pace. Like they're setting up questions and then answering them, and then setting up more questions to follow through. So even with this Nem reveal, I have like 5 more questions that creates, which is good storytelling. Yeah,
Well, like the other thing too, where the one the whatever the dumb things are called, the capsims. Uh, this week's like double one or the one they picked up last week we didn't see yet is one where he made like clones of himself, which was of
yeah,
course convenient because the nightmare also kept coming back in doubles every time Nox was like, no, you can keep fighting. This is actually like hell. You're stuck here. And I'll give him credit because there were shots where you could kind of see where they were like doing the masking and overlaying the second and third suits because they didn't make. There's no way in hell they made 8 suits, so you could kind of see where like the overlays were of things happening. And then when Zeztz did the I'm going to clone myself to fight all these monsters, like it looked like a legit 8-person fight, even though it was 4 and 4 of the same things.
yeah.
And other than like little like staring real hard at it, you could vaguely see where they were putting pieces together, but it was actually like near impossible to see where like the masking was, and they did an amazing job with that. I thought.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I the in so we actually have an email from Shade for this week that talks a little bit about how they did that shot. So I want to jump over to that right now. So again, email from Shade about the episode as a whole, but here's a little snippet from it. This is the Technolam projection is the blue capsim. Shade says that although the show describes the projection's powers as quote the power of optical camouflage, you will notice that that is freaking bullshit. Instead, it seems like its powers are projecting constructs similar to how Green Lantern's powers work, which is spot on reference there. That's pretty much exactly what he's doing. He can like create things that have force that can push things away and interact with other objects. And then, yes, eventually, as Shade says, the highlight of the episode is when we get multiple clones of Zeztz that are seemingly like fully formed functional versions of him that can fight monsters. According to the case file, there weren't many suits for filming. So all the clones we see were individual shots layered together to create the scene we saw. So all of that is basically in post in editing. They just they just did the same motions whatever 8 times or however many different versions of sets there are and then masked them over top of each other after the fact, which makes it even more impressive that they managed to make that look so natural with how crazy that must have been to actually film.
Yeah, like I said, it looked really freaking good compared to how other things could definitely work or like have would look or even like the slightest bit less of care put on that
Yeah.
would make it look like the shitty CG we always bitch about, but it just looks so freaking good.
Yeah, it is, even the like going up and kicking the brain is like, it's not CG that you're gonna get confused about like a Hollywood movie with or anything like that. But like it didn't make my eyes bleed. It didn't make me cringe. And that was the worst CG in the episode. Like the rest of it, like you said, the masking stuff is genuinely pretty impressive. And it's so funny that we are watching Don Brothers right now for the Patreon, because like whenever I see good CG in Kamen Rider, I try not to take it for granted, because I remember what the awful CG in Don Brothers looks like.
You remember what bad CG looks like?
Exactly. And that's so recent, right? Like Don Brothers wasn't like 20 years ago. Like it was just a couple years ago, and we've come a long way in terms of Toei CG. So it's good that we've made it past those dark times. And I think the projection capsule, the form is very cool looking too. It has this like awesome cape that the way that they render it, the way that they crafted it, makes it look like kind of panes of glass, sort of, because it's like it's divided up into squares.
Yeah.
And that he can do some really cool stuff with the little cape over his shoulder, and that's where a lot of his like projections come out of, as they come out of the cape. And actually, it was appropriate for him to be using the projection capsum, because Nox kind of has projection powers as well. He keeps holding up a mirror, and that's how he's sort of generating more and more of these nightmares, as he has this like weird mirror that he uses. So he's definitely themed after projections himself.
The one thing I noticed with him, which is like a simple little thing, and I'm confirming if it's a real thing or not, I noticed that Nox on his lapel has little pins of, I guess we'll call it the 4 logos of like the mind, body, reality stuff that he's trying to break, or he said was falling apart. And I am shocked they don't actually have that for sale as a toy or a collectible of like buy the pins, because that seems like prime. Everyone would buy that kind of deal.
I'm sure they will eventually. I'm sure it's coming. If it's not there yet, I'm sure it's coming.
It is not here yet, so they better
It'll
figure that out, because that's a
it'll
good
show
one.
up on Premium Bandai at some point, like the $500 harness you can get to match Baku's. Let's jump into the rest of that email from Shade, because it's got some good information in it. So if you want to send us in an email like Shade is doing, you can send those over to cast@commonwritersucks.com. Once again, that is cast@commonwritersucks.com. You can also find that linked in the description. So Shade says, greetings everyone, and welcome to case 7 of Zeztz. Before we begin, I want to warn you guys that some footage of Zetz's new upgrade form was leaked. Apparently, some foreign TV station leaked a trailer for Zeztz, and judging from how we haven't even seen leaked magazine scans of the suit, it seems like the episode that the form was supposed to debut in won't be airing for more than a month, so it's a bit of a big spoiler. Yeah, I heard that this had happened, but I have thus far managed to avoid seeing that trailer anywhere, or seeing images from it. So I think we so far are safe, which is good.
That's all that matters.
And then we have some pictures from the behind the scenes. One of them is with the director of the talent agency holding the dog, which we see in the episode. And Shade says a small trivia about the scene. The dog that President Bijogi is holding is actually the director's own pet. It's the director's dog. So he inserted a cameo for his dog.
What a VIP.
Then, of course, we talked about the projection already. And then some more behind the scenes photos, some very fun ones of Baku and Nem taking photos of each other, and then one with Baku and the police officers posing in his little hidden closet room, all giving the peace sign, looking like they're friends. I always like seeing the actors look like friends. And then they of course dive into Nem's very fashionable prison outfit, which is half pink and half blue, and it's a vibe. That's all I can say. Shade says this week's case file was pretty short, but there's some additional news and tidbits. First up is that Gav's final stage has recently ended. With this, the cast has finally ended their journey with Kamen Rider Gav. So yeah, if you're not aware, when a Kamen Rider show ends, typically the cast then kind of rolls into the stage show, which they call the final stage. So they perform that. I think it's usually like it tours around a little bit, And then at the end of that is kind of when like it's their last time really performing together, unless they get brought back for additional movies or cameos or at this point miniseries and stuff like that. But that's sort of the end of the show. And the final stages continue the story of the show to some extent. Obviously, they're aimed at being for children showing up to a live event, so don't expect like movie style drama or anything like that. But they are a continuation of what the show is doing, and sometimes they have very cool stuff associated with them, like Gav did. So Shade's telling us about this. They toured and performed in 5 different cities, with each city having their own exclusive Gav form.
Hell yeah.
Then at the final stage, Shoma split into 2 using the sheer force of will and the audience's cheers. Um, so Shade says the entire show has been leaked, by the way. It's probably on where if you'd like to check it out. So yeah, if you want to go check out the stage show and know where to look, you can find those. But the forms are pretty cool. Like they're very different for all the 5 cities. One of them, he has like octopus tentacle arms, which is pretty cool.
Hell yeah. That's all I ever wanted.
Yeah, there's one where he has like multicolored panels all over his body, which I'm sure is a reference to something in the city. Yeah, they're pretty neat. I like the idea of like he's showing up to different places with like a gochizo based on food from that city, right? Like that's kind of cool. Shane says, but that's not all. They've announced a new Gav spinoff titled Kamen Rider Vram Route Stomach.
It's a lot of words.
That is a lot of words that don't make a ton of sense together. The spinoff will be a what-if story about a world where Rakia never had his change of heart and kept working for Stomach Inc. instead of joining Shoma and the others. That's kind of sad. I like Rakia. I don't want to imagine a world where he stayed a bad guy.
Don't swerve him like this.
Yeah, not like this. Not like this. Although I bet he's like a crazy badass if he stays a bad guy, though. Shade says, next up is a small but funny tidbit. Popular comic book writer Gail Simone recently mentioned Kamen Rider in an unexpected way. It seems that she's very familiar with tokusatsu, but she has this ongoing bit about misidentifying toku-related properties on purpose. She would post pictures of Power Rangers and ask, is this Voltron? Or is this Ultraman? And something along those lines. So her most recent tweet from October 17th is, so the Power Rangers are basically Kamen Rider. which is awesome. That's you're sort of crossing the lines there. And then Chase says, finally, I'd like to bring up the topic of the Ninja Kids Power Rangers, because wow, the situation is crazy. Have you heard about this at all, Toby?
No, but Ninja Kid Power Rangers sounds good.
Shade says, if you guys aren't aware, Hasbro collabed with a popular kids channel called Ninja Kids to make a Power Rangers web series. They've just released the trailer, and man, it is a disaster. The whole thing is blatantly made with AI, and the backlash is as big as you can imagine. I'm not even a fan of Power Rangers, but every time I check on the franchise, it seems to be going downhill more and more. It's quite sad, actually. Although, on the other hand, it is extremely funny how the biggest W Power Rangers have had in years was because of Fortnite. Yeah, the Fortnite stuff for Power Rangers seemed incredibly popular. Like,
it seems like a prime mashup of cultures where it would fit perfectly.
Yeah. Power Rangers, whether you like it or not, is in that category now of stuff that is like, this is things we'll trot out for nostalgia bait. And if we want to, like Fortnite, if we want to sell some skins for something, oh my God, we're going to put Power Rangers on it. Or maybe Power Rangers isn't your thing. Maybe you like the Ninja Turtles. Or, hey, I heard
maybe you like John Cena.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you're into John Cena. Like, it's one of those things that like they don't have to put a lot of effort into, but they can trot it out once in a while to get a big return because they're just playing that nostalgia fiddle for you and playing you like a fiddle, I guess, as well on top of it. I don't think that Hasbro sees Power Rangers as a going concern. Like in terms of like, you know, a series that they need to continue to make new versions of. Like I think they're perfectly happy with, hey, we can milk the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers teat once in a while and have some money come out. And that's good. We don't have to put any money in and we just get money out once in a while, and that's fine. And that sucks as a place for the property to be, for sure. But that's how it's been for a long time. I mean, even when um, Power Rangers was in its heyday and Disney was making awesome seasons and they were really doing cool stuff, popular opinion, like the general public, when they think of Power Rangers, still only thought of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like it never got to that level again. And I think because of that is why it's so often painted into the corner of this is just a nostalgia act.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
It would almost have to be because I mean, maybe at best, like one of the seasons after Power Rangers was still popular. Like I feel like the Ninja one worked, and then when Mega Force was on Nickelodeon, I feel like they kind of renewed the vibe for a little bit in
yeah,
America, but that was probably like about it. Like all the other ones, I don't remember really being a thing when they were on TV, even though like I would have vaguely aged out and in, like back and forth. But I don't remember commercials for any of them. I don't remember movies. I don't remember anything really. I just
yeah.
remember like the OG. I remember the ones we watched just because that was a side thing. And like I said, I feel like I remember Megaforce at least being advertised or at least a little more visible than some of their shows had been.
Yeah, that one felt like another jumping on point, at least, and there I know are a lot of kids out there who were kids at the time, and like Megaforce is their Power Rangers, and I know that exists. Um, but yeah, I think for a lot of the years it was like, yeah, they're just kind of still pumping them out, and like kids are watching them, but like they're not breaking into sort of the public zeitgeist like Power Rangers was when it first started, which is reasonable. I mean, you're never gonna hit that same level of notoriety because it was a phenomenon at the time, right? It was like like Tickle Me Elmo esque madness went over the public the when Power Rangers kind of first came out. But it does feel like they're leaving money on the table, right? It feels like, you know, kids still love superheroes, and you have, this relationship with Netflix. And it's like, it seems like you'd want to just produce new shows so kids have new stuff to watch, and then that generates toy sales. It seems like it's like a win-win to continue to make episodes. And like, you don't even have to try that hard. Like, you don't even have to make them big budget. Just churn something out that you can throw up on Netflix. So it is kind of shocking that they're not even doing that. But yeah, that's the sad state, I guess, of Power Rangers in 2025 and into the future. I don't think it's really, I don't
Yeah,
think it's really turning
probably stay
around.
about the same.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
best, anniversary years could be like, hey, remember this? But that seems like
yeah,
that's where we're gonna land.
dude, I had such high hope for a little bit too, with kind of this new era of Power Rangers because they did that Netflix special. I forget what it was called, but it was like a longer form, like almost like a movie length, and they brought back the older Rangers, and it was a little bit more adult, and like it was like there was this chance of like, oh, maybe we could do these like fun little bespoke stories once in a while.
Yeah.
But then they did one and never did another one, so I don't think that's really going to continue. But I don't know. Hasbro's very good at killing once great properties. That they've done the same thing with Magic the Gathering, which is selling more than ever now, but like no one's playing it. I don't know if you've like heard any of those stories, but like boxes of Magic cards are selling really well, and like the Final Fantasy set that they came out with is like amazing in terms of sales, but like people don't show up to their gaming stores to play standard anymore. Like standard nights are getting canceled. People don't play most of the formats anymore except for Commander, and even that, anecdotally, it seems like numbers are dropping. So like they've created this thing that like again profits come out but it doesn't really like build community like it used to do anymore, which is really where like long-term profits come from. So I think that's just kind of the nature of their business to some extent.
Just kill all the properties, burn them all to the ground.
And they're working very hard at doing that. Yeah.
You're doing a great job.
All right. Well, Shade, thanks very much for the email and for all of the information here. Um, our email client apparently bugged out and was showing me a different email, and I had a moment of like, this is nothing that I just read. What is happening here?
Where did I just get all these things from?
Yeah, I got very confused there for a moment. But again, thanks very much, Shade. If you want to send us in an email, like Shade did, you can send those over to cast@commonwritersucks.com. Once again, that is cast@commonwritersucks.com. Send those about anything that you want. If you want to ask us a question, if you want to give us your thoughts on zeztz and how that's going, or anything along those lines, you can send those emails over. And also, Toby, we have a Patreon that I need to tell everyone about. Patreon.com/the comment writers is where you can find that. For $3 a month, you get access to the Patreon and all the bonus content that we put up on that Patreon. Usually that comes along the form of what we call watch and reacts, where we watch a tokusatsu show in real time. You get to watch it along with us, and you get to hear our thoughts and our jokes along the way. And currently we are watching a couple Sentai, Gozyuger and Don Brothers, and we're working our way through both of those. Previously, we have watched Kamen Rider X-Aid, we've watched Kamen Rider Black Sun. There's a bunch of stuff up there that you can check out. Boom Boomjer is one as well that we loved. So a bunch of stuff. And like I said, $3 a month gets you access to that Patreon and all that bonus content. But if you're not sure you want to drop that dough quite yet, you can follow the Patreon for free. And we put up the first few episodes of every series that we have watched for free as well. So you can check out a bunch of content for free and see if you like it, see if you want to sign up for the rest of it. And you also get access to our Discord, and you get to talk to us all week long and drive us crazy if you want to so do that. Talk about making hot dogs in toilets, if that's your thing. I don't know.
It's a hell of a chef plan.
Yeah,
hell of a chefing.
quite a chefing indeed. So once again, that is patreon.com/the comment writers. And Toby, I think that wraps us up for this week. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
On Twitter, it's Life of Tobes. On YouTube, it's Tobes Plays. And the new most important place, it's Tobes Plays on GeoGuessr, where you should definitely be my friend.
Yeah, you are grinding GeoGuessr now. I like hearing about your GeoGuessr updates and your tweaks and things you found and your progress.
I'm locked in, man. I'm locked in.
I was living vicariously through you last week when you're talking about GeoGuessr. But yeah, sounds good. We need someone to get on there and be our ringer for GeoGuessr. Someone who really knows the countries, and we can just tag along and be the little babies who get included in the high rank. Yeah.
Help me help you.
Let's see. So for me, you can follow me on Blue Sky at meek.lol. And the show is also on Blue Sky too at commonwritersucks.com. So you can find both there. Like I said, do check out the Patreon, patreon.com/the comment writers. Send those emails in to cast@commonwritersucks.com. And of course, whatever platform you're listening on, if you would give us a subscribe or a follow, and if you could leave a review, leave a comment, all that stuff helps. Give it a thumbs up and tell a friend. That's the best thing that you could do overall. That always is a big help to get new faces in the door. So we'll be back next time to talk about case number 8, which you may have already seen. So come back and you can hear our discussion about it. So enjoy watching that if you haven't already, and then come back here and we'll talk about it. So until then, have a great week, everybody. Peace.